When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Skims or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and for shoppers buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/income.
This is The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic. As a running coach that has written and talked about running for over 10 years, there's one subject that I rarely talk about, and it's one that's absolutely critical to running. It can make the difference between a great run and a painful one. It's something that can make you faster, or it can make your injury worse. It's high tech and it's low tech at the same time, which of course makes the topic controversial. The controversy is not the reason I tend not to go deeply here. I'll get into that part later. And of course, you already know the topic today is running shoes because you clicked on this podcast. And I'm sure you care a lot less about why I tend to stay away from this subject and more about how do you figure out which is the right shoe for you. Well, let's find out. Welcome to The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic, and my mission is to help you improve your running, your mindset, and your life with science-backed training and plant-based nutrition. Today, I'm going to talk about running shoes. You'll learn how to find the right shoe for you, how many shoes you should have, and if you really should spend the cash on carbon-plated super shoes. This episode is essential if you are a new runner or just getting back into the sport, but experienced runners may pick up a few things as well. And if you are either type of runner, then you are the perfect candidate for the PR team. Humans are simply better together than they are alone. Accountability, community, and support matter when it comes to performance, probably even more than the training itself. But you'll get top-tier training customized just for you at the same time. This is the reason nearly all the elite pro runners are part of a training team. But this one is for runners just like you, all ages and paces who are doing the same thing and cheering each other on. I'll talk more about the team later on in the show, but if you're ready to learn more right now, head to theplantedrunner.com/group. Don't forget to stay tuned all the way to the end of the episode for this week's Mental Strength Minute. Fortify your mind in 60 seconds or less. The great thing about running, we're told, is that all you need is a pair of shoes. Of course, that's not really all you need, but the shoes are arguably the most important piece of your gear. Back in the 70s and the 80s, Nike and other running shoe brands started the modern running shoe era with innovations designed to make us faster and less prone to injury. Shoes certainly can help with speed, but it's arguable if any particular shoe design can really do much for injury prevention, even to this day. Barefoot and minimalist shoes became popular in the 2000s with the book Born to Run, but less shoe wasn't the solution to running injuries either. Lots of runners, myself included, fell for the barefoot craze and still got injured. Today, shoes are bigger, lighter, and more technologically advanced than ever. Super shoes can make a marginal difference in your marathon time, at least for some runners, but there's no guarantee that they'll do anything to prevent a stress fracture. So, how do you choose? The right answer might just be the simplest: comfort. If a shoe feels good, wear it. And that really could be the end of the episode. But if you're like me, you want more than that, right? Studies on runners in different kinds of shoes showed that yes, the shoe matters, but only in relation to the runner wearing them. A higher heel to toe drop didn't seem to make much of a difference in experienced runners, but a low drop seemed to cause more injuries. More cushioning made a difference, but the effect depended on how much the runner weighed. Shoes designed to control pronation had a small effect on most runners, but a significant improvement in those whose feet rolled inwards. In other words, some features really do help some runners while doing little to nothing for others. So how does that help you figure out which shoe to buy? And why don't I like to talk about this much? I'll go over that when we come back. For years, I thought I could figure almost anything out with Google, YouTube, and stubbornness. Actually, I still do for the most part. And with my running, that plan worked until it didn't. That's when I realized I was stuck and alone. So I sucked up my pride and joined a coaching community. And that changed my running more than any article I ever read. I didn't care about the group part at first. I just wanted better results for myself. But the group is what made that possible. I wasn't just hiring an expert coach. I was getting a team. And that's why the PR team works so well. People usually join for the custom training plan and the coaching, but why they stay, often for years, is because the community matters more than they imagined. A fun part for me every week is I record an exclusive private podcast for the team, talking through what matters right now, what I'd ignore, and where runners often waste energy worrying. And I love seeing new runners realize quickly that they belong there too. Curious about what it feels like to skip ahead and level up your running in months instead of years? Learn more today at theplantedrunner.com/group. That's theplantedrunner.com/group. The Planted Runner is sponsored by Liquid IV. Did you know that I was a Class 5 whitewater rafting guide in my 20s? For 3 summers, I guided guests down some of the wildest rivers in the West while the sun beat down on us and the icy water kept us cool. Hydration at the time was a rinsed out orange juice jug roped to the raft. Thankfully, today we have superior hydration. Liquid IV delivers longer lasting hydration than water alone. And right now you can get 20% off your first order with code PLANTED at checkout. I love the mandarin orange flavor and rely on it after every workout. Just 1 stick and 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. Powered by Live Hydroscience, an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. Soak up unforgettable moments with on-the-go hydration from Liquid IV. Tear, pour, live more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first order with code PLANTED at checkout. That's 20% off your first order with code PLANTED at liquidiv.com. Welcome back to The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic. As I mentioned at the top of the show, I really don't like talking much about running shoes, even though they are really one of the most important things you need for running. Why? Well, because every runner is so different. You need to figure out what shoe feels good to you and wear that one. Plus, keeping up with every make and model of running shoe is absolutely exhausting. There are other creators out there like Kafuzi who love geeking out on every last technical detail of the latest shoe on the market. That's just not me. I do like to keep up with the general trends and the tech, of course, but the sneakerhead mentality just really isn't in my DNA. And the other reason is that comfort really is your best guide, not some running guru influencing you. Thankfully, the comfort test might actually be backed by science. Studies have shown that the happier you are with the fit of your shoe or your perceived comfort level, the more correlation there is with a lower rate of injury. More studies need to be done on this, but intuitively, it makes sense. If you hate your shoes and they feel terrible, you are more likely to move in an unnatural way for your body. It will feel uncomfortable and will cause you to put more stress on your muscles, bones, tendons, and joints. So perhaps it isn't that a cushier, comfier shoe protects you from injury. It's more that an uncomfortable one raises your risk. Now that you found a shoe that you like, don't just wear them for every run and run them into the ground. You'll want to get at least 2 pairs, assuming that you run every other day or fewer than that. If you run more than that, I recommend getting more. Research has shown that rotating 2 or more pairs also helps lower injury risk, even though the reasoning isn't perfectly clear why. Your shoes do need time to dry out, and the foam does need time to bounce back to its set point. Plus, this way you're wearing down 2 shoes at an equal rate instead of grinding one down all the way to 0. Once you really get into training, you'll want different shoes for different types of runs. Your slow, long run will feel better with more cushion, and your speedier track sessions will feel faster with springier kicks. And of course, I couldn't have a shoe episode without talking about carbon-plated super shoes. Do you really need $300 shoes, and do they make a difference? No and yes. Yes, it's true that carbon-plated shoes can make a difference in longer races like the marathon or the half marathon. It's not simply because they make it a little easier to run, but they also help absorb some of the impact forces of running, helping you feel fresher, longer, which will help performance. That's also helpful in terms of recovery, since with lower impact, you have less to recover from. But do you need them? Of course not. Some runners just don't feel good in them, which, as we know, should be an elimination factor right there. And they don't make every runner automatically faster. But if it's in the budget and they feel good on a test run in the running shop, go for it. Be sure to run in them on a few speed days at race pace, and maybe do a couple of long runs before race day to be absolutely sure that you like them. The foam is said to wear out faster than conventional foam, so limit your mileage to about 50 miles or 80 kilometers before the big day. Personally, I absolutely love carbon-plated super shoes, and I feel like they are worth every penny when you are trying to shave off the tiniest amount of time. And I certainly noticed less soreness after racing in them than in conventional shoes. So until we get more proof telling us that we're wrong, just wear the shoes that feel best to you the very day you buy them. Do not expect to have to break them in. They need to feel great on day one. And you have my permission to get a couple of pairs or more. And now it's time for this week's Mental Strength Minute. Fortify your mind in 60 seconds or less. Today's topic is be amused instead of annoyed. There are so many annoying moments in life. Traffic, waiting in line, the garbage that needs to be taken out again. But what if your first instinct is amusement instead of annoyance? How much better would life be? When things that are out of your control, like traffic, come your way, being annoyed will only bring you more suffering, not less. Admitting that you are annoyed actually amplifies the annoyance you feel. So instead of saying, "This is annoying," try saying, "This is amusing." Yes, it is silly and feels fake, but it's precisely why it works. It's silly to pretend you are amused in traffic. And if you can turn anything that annoys you into something lighthearted, you have just leveled up in life.
Thank you for listening to The Planted Runner, part of the Evergreen Podcast Network. Don't forget that you can enter to win a free custom training plan for your next race and get featured on the show. Just write an Apple Podcast review and enter at theplantedrunner.com/PRLab. Of course, reviews are the #1 way to boost this show's reach, and it's a great way to tell me what you'd like to hear next because I read every single one. Have a great run today.